What's up, everybody? It's John.
And Gavin.
Well, let's open it. It's podcast.
Yes.
Oh, got a lot talked about today. But before we get into that, please make sure you go to all of our things and like them and subscribe to them. Make sure you like this podcast. Rate it 5 stars, please, wherever you listen to, because that'd be great.
Absolutely. So we start off as we do every week with the TCG segment and talking about some Magic the Gathering. So we just got done recording for Phyrexia All Will Be One.
Yes.
And that was cool. It was good openings. We got some Elishnorn. We didn't get any of the crazy
Oil slick, raised texture foils or anything. Those are like one per semi.
Yeah, one per semi or something. But it was still a good time. I like that they kind of, I don't know, I like at least the Magic cards they're producing that are real Magic cards.
Yeah. Sorry, my teeth hurt.
And then we had Dom Remastered, still doing good. It dipped a whole lot, though. But it was a good set, at least.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the nature of the Magic the Gathering beast. It'll be overinflated on
I still like how the Dominaria Remastered set, you can get the same cards in draft boosters.
Right.
Than as what you can get in the collector boosters.
So the barrier to entry to get the cool cards is a lot lower, which
Yes.
is always nice.
Not like in the All Be One set where it's like you can only get the oil slick stuff in
And the
collector boosties. Yeah. Yeah, I sold a lot of Magic cards to be able to pay for like cell phone bill and
dumb board games.
dumb board games. Yeah. Wasn't
Really
playing
good
them,
board
just
games.
sitting in my binders doing nothing, so I sold some. So I have to go through and delete that stuff off my MTG or Dragon Shield app because, you know, I don't know if you guys have been having problems with it, but I cannot download this new. It stops like at 40 something and then like just stalls. So I can't download the new.
Whatever the updated prices are.
Yeah, or the new card list for Phyrexia. It just stops at 40, like right here. Yeah. Oh, it's actually going this time. Maybe.
Let me see. Maybe they fixed it.
Yeah, maybe they fixed it.
Very good. Yeah, we're big proponents of this Dragon Shield app. It's nice.
Yes.
I keep all of my listicles in it for my decks and then my cube. And then when I still had trade stuff, my trade stuff.
Yeah, I use it for when I'm about to go sell my cards because I'll put it into a list. Man, if we sound winded, we just walked up some stairs because I am winded. But I'll make a list of cards I want to sell. So when I go to the local card shop, I can just show them like, boom, here's all the cards. Here's the value. So, you know, it's just come prepared. They give you a little bit more money. At least this certain local game store does. If you come prepared, right? Instead of just handing them a stack of cards and making him go through all the values of it like that. Yeah.
Man, so I guess we're kind of doing the market watch since we're on this app a little bit early. But yeah, so my collection as a whole still down 8.16%. And then that Stacks deck still up 10%. It's just not moving. It's crazy. So everything is like down right here, and it's just staying.
Well, my
here.
stuff is up. Now my sell category, the cards I just sold, is down 6%.
Nice.
So that was a good time to sell. When I did, because 18 cards of value. When I scanned the cards in, there was 338. Now they're 317, down 6.25%. But the rest of my cards have kind of gone up. But I gotta redo these because I pulled cards out. My binder is not longer my binder anymore. But my commander deck's up 8%.
Very good.
You
still got to redo that. We should do that today. Rescan your commander deck and actually get an accurate reading on it.
Yeah. I want to add my Elishnorn to it.
Well, I've got some of these fancy shocklands I need to put into my cube now.
He's holding steam vents right now.
Yeah, I've got a steam vents here, and this is real cool. This is absolutely the best artwork that will ever go on a steam vents. You can't convince me otherwise.
It's from the Infinity.
Yeah, like so I like these even better than the Expedition ones from original Battle for Zendikar. Like, this is just the coolest. Just wow.
My teeth hurt.
Shiny cardboard. But yeah, so we've also got, I don't know, Amazon Fire selling has become a big topic of contention in the Magic community. Rudy talks about it all the time.
I haven't
But
heard
I've
any
seen
of it.
some other YouTubers start to talk about it. So, I mean, they're really putting the screws to the local game stores with this. So what they'll do is, like we talked about, you've got the overinflated initial period where the game stores got to try to recoup their losses, or other sellers got to try to recoup their losses. They charge pretty close to MSRP or above MSRP sometimes because they had to pay an exorbitant amount for it. Sorry, I got to talk into the microphone here. So yeah, then it just crashes because nobody wants it, or they don't get to sell as much of it as they'd hoped they were going to sell. And then Wizards of the Coast, same thing. If they don't move as much of it as they expect to move, then it just gets dumped on Amazon for
Cheap.
Yeah, cheap.
Oh, I got another one of these. Oh man, that's a good card.
Very nice. John's opening up some Jumpstart packs as we're just kind of sitting here chit-chatting.
Oh, this is like a
Let me see.
$30 card.
No way. I'm going to steal it. Lita, Mechanical Engineer. At the beginning of your end step, untap each other artifact you control. Artifact creature you control. That does seem really good.
Yeah.
And it makes vehicles.
Makes vehicles, baby. Because it's in the vehicle deck of Jumpstart.
Very good.
29.25. I was right.
Dang. Again, Jumpstart doing really good still. That was a good set.
Because you could... Because there's no variant product. It was just draft backs or draft booster box or whatever the hell you want to call
They're
it.
just Jumpstart boosters. It's its own thing.
Yeah, it's its own thing. So you can only there's only one variant. There's only one type of that card. There's not 16 variants.
Well, there's the Japanese variants.
But I'm saying but you can only get it, you know what I'm saying.
There's only one type of pack that you can open to get that set, and that is the Jumpstart 2022 or whatever the hell they called it.
Yeah.
Man, speaking of, the Jumpstarts for the new sets are still garbage. I don't know why they keep making them.
Did they make it for Phyrexia?
I think so.
I don't think Jason bought any.
No. And
Good.
if you're a local game store owner out there listening, you shouldn't either.
Yeah.
It's trash. It's a worse draft booster.
It is.
And that's kind of saying something. Because the draft booster is already the kind of the worst booster pack you can get now. Which is so weird. That just used to be the booster pack. We live in a very strange timeline.
Yeah.
So that's what we got going on for the Magic the Gathering. Tabletop RPGs.
But the Phyrexian Albi they've printed some pretty powerful cards in it.
Oh yeah.
There's lots of.
It's a very high-powered standard set. They haven't done. I don't know. I thought Brothers War was pretty high power, but Phyrexia Albi one is even better. There's this cycle. I think they're commons. And they're they all have toxic. And
Infect. The whole new Infect.
Right, toxic. Wait, is it toxic or? Yeah, it's toxic because there's toxic, infect, and poison. Those are the three different things, or poisonous, or whatever. So I think toxic is the new one, and yeah, so there's a cycle of commons. They're all 2-drops, I think. The black one is a 2-mana 2/2 with toxic 1, and then when it dies, you can proliferate. That's just insane. Ooh, Garbage Sarkhan. Oh no, that's the one from Kanzaturk here. So not quite as Garbage Sarkhan.
Yeah.
Very good. Looking at all these rares that John just got. Ophiomancer. Interesting.
And I still have
Nightpack
lots of
Ambusher.
stuff that's not even open yet, sitting on my desk.
Baron Tellarian Archmage. Very good. Gin of Wishes. Ooh. Kinesos. Priest of Thassa. Very good.
Remember when that Nightpack Ambusher used to be a lot of money?
Yeah, because this card was sick nasty in Standard.
Yep.
It's in my cube. I don't even have that many wolves because it's just a house on its own.
How about this Jace?
Arcane Strategist. This is trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever you draw your second card each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. +1, draw a card. -7. Creatures you control can't be blocked this turn. Man, this card is hot trash. What is this card?
Why is it a mythic? Because it says Jace.
And it's got a... Yeah, no, this should be a rare. It only has an up and a down and a static. Yeah. Ugh, this card's bad. 6 mana for 4 loyalty. This is hot trash.
There's Chandra.
Chandra, Flame's Fury. Is this one also hot trash? 6 mana for 4 loyalty. Chandra, Flame's Fury deals 2 damage to any target. Chandra, Flame's Fury deals 4 damage to target creature and 2 damage to that creature's controller. It's okay.
Buddy, buddy. You're scared. Well, welcome my son into the podcast. Just hang out, buddy. So, yeah. Chandra. Yeah, they're not great.
Not quite as bad as the Jace, but it's still not good.
So, what else we got? Shh, buddy. Yeah.
I'll just have to try to cut all this stuff out.
Nah, it's okay. I'll just be right in it. This is life, people. This is how we live. So what else?
It won't be a big thing to just go in and clip it out.
Yeah.
It'll be whatever.
So what else we got?
See, board games, because this is going to be our meaty topic of the week.
Board games. I love them.
Yeah. We've been getting into a lot of more legacy style games or
storytelling or whatever. It's been really good.
Our first one up that really tipped the scales, we talked about it last week, was like Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion. We haven't picked that one back up since, just because I think we need to introduce a third player.
Yeah, we need more players for that game.
Just because that one mission we did was just oppressively hard, and we
it was
had
so
no way
hard
to deal with it.
No deal, no.
But we played through the Skyrim board game, which is pretty new.
Yeah, Skyrim. You want to close the door? Or just close it over. The Skyrim game, can highly recommend it. Highly. I cannot highly more recommend this thing than if you can pick it up, get it. If you want a board game that's going to have like great replay value, because there's a main campaign and then there is free roam and there's 2 expansions that we're going to pick up. The game plays, I think, like the video game.
Pretty much.
Where you're just constantly picking up side quests, more quests. It's like, oh, you want to go do the main quest or you want to go do these quests? But then some main quests have a timer on it where it's like you got to get through the main quest.
Otherwise you lose.
Or you lose. But if we play the free roam, I think it's going to be a little bit more.
Well, I don't know, because you make the event deck out of all of the other event decks.
Yeah.
And if that's going to have like the main quest thing, then we could end up with one that's like, go do this, otherwise you're... Well, maybe not. Because it's not... I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because I want to play through more of the side quests. Because there's so much storytelling in it.
But it's the same as the Skyrim ones.
Mm-hmm. Go help this person. Return the horse.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
You can go get the dark horse or whatever.
Yeah, it's all good. Storytelling in the game was good. The story was really good. It's actually kind of like a prequel to the actual video game.
Yeah, and it leads up right until...
Right during it.
Yeah, pretty much.
It even mentions there's a dragonborn running around Skyrim right now while you're doing this stuff. But then you also start 25 years before the events of Skyrim and learn kind of like what's happening kind of thing.
And you go see Ulfric...
Stormcloak.
Ulfric Stormcloak lead his first rebellion, and they march across the land and do their thing, and you got to like try to get out of their way, basically.
Yeah.
Otherwise it costs you resources.
Costs you money. You got to pay them off to look the other way. But it's... Oh, man.
Because you play as some blades, and you're always like dodging the Almari Dominion.
Yes.
Which is neat.
It is a very good game. Highly recommend it. If you could pick it up, play it. I think it would have been more fun with more players.
Yeah.
Me and Gavin, like...
We railed through it.
It was like 7 hours. We played 7 hours. And it's like the video game. You're like, holy shit, 7 hours just passed. So.
And yeah, it doesn't take, like, I don't know. Yeah, how long would you say that campaign was? Like all of them?
Probably like 20 hours.
Maybe. Yeah.
About 20 hours. Well, that was also learning to play, because I'm going to tell you the one big gripe about it is the rule book is
It's
hot garbage.
made by Modifius Entertainment, and they did Vampire the Masquerade, and the Vampire V5 rule book, I think, to me, is one of the worst like rule books for a role playing game that exists, and not because of the content, simply because of how the content is laid out. Like, it's just not, and it's not explained well, and there's like part of a rule here, and then you got to find the rest of the rule somewhere else, and that's how this rule book was. Unfortunately, not a good rule book, but the game and the mechanics very good, and that's how I feel about V5 Vampire. I like the game, I like the mechanics, but man, the rules are just so convoluted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's how Skyrim was.
And you can't watch a video about it, because like all the videos I found, it was like playing through it. Like,
right.
You don't want to spoil the game while learning how to play the game.
Yeah.
And
honestly, it was pretty simple, because it was like, on your turn, the first thing you do is you can move. You can move up to 4 spaces, 5 if you got a horse, or you can use the fast travel system.
Yeah.
To move between holds. And which was cool, because again, like the video game. That was, I think, probably like just a big thing when they were designing that, was just how we got to make this. They wanted to make it as close to the video game as possible on the board.
Yeah.
Or on your tabletop.
And I think they did a fantastic job.
Absolutely. All the quests are cool, and it's a lot of the same quests. If you played through Skyrim endless amounts of times like we have, then you'll recognize some of them. Like, you know, a lot of the quests are the same in terms of like random side quests. But it's still cool to get to go do them on like the tabletop.
Yeah.
Like there was one I remember with the Bard College, and that was pretty much the same as Skyrim. The quest for the horse was pretty much the same. I didn't get to really pay attention to too many of your side quests.
One of my side quests yielded a pretty good axe.
Yeah.
That I kept through the game.
And that was another cool thing. Like, so the way the level up system works, again, sort of, it's different than Skyrim, because like, so I guess the core mechanic of the game is doing skill tests or fighting, like either or. If you do a skill test, you need to have the skill. Otherwise, you usually just roll 3 dice. And that dice roll can be modified if you have the skill, which usually means you get the dice. Or once you level up all the way, I think you can have 8 skills.
Mm-hmm. You can legendary your skill.
Yeah, you can legendary your skill. And by legendarying your skill, you get to get, I think most of the time it's 2 dice on the checks, and then it also improves whatever other ability the skill gives you. Like sneak, you get 2 sneak instead of the 1 sneak, because you can sneak up to enemies.
Do double damage.
Right, yeah.
Which we didn't sneak at all in that game.
No, we were very much just go in and blast in my case, and go in and swing in your case.
Yep.
John did like a 2-handed heavy armor build, and I did a wizard.
Yeah, wizard. I'm a level 6 wizard. Yeah, it was
because the destruction was really good.
Yeah.
That maybe is a gripe of mine. There's like, you could get other spells, but they like really didn't do a whole lot that I saw.
Yeah.
But
we also didn't touch a lot of it. There's a lot of stuff in there you get in the side quest that we didn't get.
That's true. And like John had the opportunity to join the companions and didn't.
Well, it didn't give me that option. Like, I worked with the companions, and the card even said, you decide not to join the companions.
Right, because of some choice you made. I think.
I succeeded. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah. It would have been cool.
But I think you would have got one of the companions as a follower. Maybe that's probably all that would have happened.
Yeah, I got a follower once. And let's talk about the followers. Sometimes they do nothing. And then I had a follower that was really strong.
And then it killed itself.
It killed itself. Because like the followers don't die. Except if they do something that is on their card that kills them. And mine was like I had a follower finally. The second roll,
because I had a follower for like all of the second campaign.
Yeah. The second roll in combat that I'm using my follower, it was called charge. Basically, they just charge right into it. It does heavy damage, but they die.
Yeah, John got to kill whatever enemy he was facing, but then his follower died.
Yeah.
And he was back to no follower.
It was so lame.
So yeah, that is a really, really good one. We had a ton of fun with that. Now, unfortunately, we got to talk about a game we did not have a ton of fun with. Excavation Earth.
Oh my God, Excavation Earth. This is a game I bought about a year and a half ago. Still sealed. Opened it yesterday. Was talked into buying this game, saying it was really good.
I think it could be.
It could be. The rules were kind of lame.
Yeah, the rule book again.
We had to watch 2 videos on how to like actually play because the rule book didn't like go through how to play. It gave the actions. It gave you like what you can do, but it didn't like explain.
Mm-hmm. And there was a few steps that were like kind of murky. And a tricky thing is that game is, I think, had a couple additions as well. And so some things are different between editions.
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
so like the first video we watched was, I think, about the first edition of the game. So some of the rules were just different. And then the second video we found, that gentleman was teaching how to play the edition we had. And it wasn't too different, but different enough. But that was a more like step-by-step, this is how you play.
it was a good video.
I just don't think that you have enough cards. So the main mechanic in the game is basically, so Earth, there's no more humans, whether they all died out or whether humankind left to go travel the stars or whatever. Unknown, but now there's all these aliens who are basically going to Earth digging for artifacts.
Artifacts, like art, not artifacts, artifacts.
It's the same thing. It's the same word.
I know.
But yes,
but you're building you're curating a museum, basically.
Right. That's your goal. You're selling these to buyers. And the color of the artifact that you buy gets sold to the same color of buyer, like little buyer meeple. And based on how popular it is, will determine how many points or credits you get for it. And the person with the most credits at the end wins.
Yes.
But every action costs a card, and you get cards in between rounds, or you start the game with so many cards. But I don't think you get enough of them.
No, you only get 10 cards, and each action requires you burning a card.
Yeah, if you want to move, you gotta
burn a card to move. You gotta burn a card. You gotta burn a card to do anything, and you can do 2. So basically, you have five turns. And
there's a couple ways you can get some bonus cards, but they're very hard to achieve.
Yeah. And then, like, how do you... what I didn't like was to sell to the market. You couldn't just sell. You had to, like, do a market action.
Right.
Place one of your workers into the market so you can actually sell, burning a card. Then you had to burn a card to actually sell to the market. And then once the market... after you sell it, that person that's in the market gets automatically promoted to an envoy that goes to the command ship, leaving that market where you can't sell it again, requiring you to burn another card to sell. Like, I don't know.
And there was like end game scoring involved that we didn't do because we just packed it up halfway through.
Yeah, I was not feeling the game. I was just like, I'm not liking this game at all.
I don't know. I like the idea that it's like a heavy economy game.
No, and I like that.
And
like it's like a worker placement deck economy game. Like, it could have been good, but I think the follow through is where it failed.
Right.
Big time on this game. Like,
there's just a couple of the mechanics that could have been cleaned up a little bit.
Yeah.
And or like just give us a few more cards.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. The big one really is that it takes 2 actions to actually sell your things. And then if you only have so much storage space on, like, I guess your ship.
Yeah, your
personal little rover or whatever.
Yeah.
And so once that's full, you can't do anything. And you also have to, like, you can go buy, like, black market artifacts, which are no different from the normal artifacts.
Yeah.
But those cost credits, and then sometimes...
But credits is how you score the game.
And then the actual selling of the things was kind of confusing in the rule book, and even in the video. The gentleman did a good job of explaining it. But, like, I don't know, it's still weird, because it's like you could sell one thing to multiple people, and then the way you get paid out is weird, because you don't... If you sell to the black market, you get paid out based on the number printed, but then if you sell to the market, you do not get paid out that way. There's like an equation involved into figuring out how you get paid out on it. And then you only get it once, like even so it's not really worth it to sell multiple things to the market. It's better to sell one thing. It was just a whole thing. Like the actual selling of the game mechanic was really convoluted, and that was kind of what was a big turnoff.
Yes.
If you played with somebody who knew how to play and could really explain it,
maybe it'd be a good game.
Yeah, you might have, your mileage may vary, maybe a little different, or maybe you're just really, really into economy-based games like that. And I don't know, we've played some games that are kind of like that. Like we actually kind of have another one on this list that is similar to Excavation Earth, but not quite. Mechanically, I think it's kind of similar. Istanbul.
Such a great game.
Yeah. And that's got like economy stuff.
Economy,
like,
worker placement.
Right.
But they
way
did it better.
Cleaner.
They just did it better. It took me a little bit to understand the movement.
Right.
Because I didn't understand the whole movement and leaving the worker behind and stuff like that. But then once I got it, I'm like, okay, this makes sense. Okay.
Right, yeah. If you want to do the thing, you got to either leave one or pick it up.
Highly recommend Istanbul.
I think it was top board game on Board Game Geek for a little while.
I mean, when we play it, it's a quick game. Right,
yeah, no. John and I have only played it twice. I've played it a few other times, like maybe 2 or 3 other times. But yeah, no, it's quick. And like once you know how to play the game, it's kind of like chess a little bit. If you're just playing, John and I just play heads up. And so we're just like, our first like 4 or 5 turns, John and I were speeding through it. Just boom, 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 boom.
Like because once you figure out the game, you got to pick a strategy. You got to be like, how are you going to get these? Because you got to get these rubies, right? You have to get 6 of them to win. And there's only a couple ways of getting it. Upgrading your merchant, basically, on certain things, or having a shit ton of money and buying all the gems.
Right. Or a mix.
Yeah.
And that's usually what I try to do, is do the mix. Because if you can be the first to market to the gem dealer and get like 2, maybe 3 that way, that's pretty good. It's an easy way to get them. But it's almost better to get like, so maybe 2. But there's 2 spaces on the board where you can upgrade your merchant, basically. So your character, and get
where you can hold
additional
more
actions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about the squares that cost like 2 and 3 goods. Because those just cost goods, and you can get the goods for free by just stopping off at a space.
Yeah.
So it takes a turn. So like that's the whole thing. Like you got to try to map out how you can best do it with the least amount of actions. And for like the least gold expenditure or lira expenditure.
Mm-hmm.
So like I think you can get, if you don't want to spend lira, you can get 4 really easily, or 3. You can get the 2 from those spaces that upgrade your character. You just have to have both of the different colored upgrades on both.
If you get them early, because you can carry up to 2.
Right.
If you're the second player, you have to at least upgrade your cart once.
Right.
Because you got to
upgrading your cart is another way, because that's only 21 gold, and that will yield you a gem. Whereas like if you go to the gem dealer in a 2-player game, the first one costs like 18 or 16 or something.
So my whole strategy last time was I upgraded my cart so I can carry the absolute most.
Right. And that gets you a gem.
It gets you a gem, and then I was just hit up the places where you can load up your cart and sell to the large or small market. But they also picked up a card that was pretty awesome.
So since this was our second time playing, there's an optional rule in the rule book that you can deal the game board out, because it's basically tiles in a 4x4 grid. There's one that should have a kind of fixed position, and that is the space that brings all the workers back to your merchant.
Fountain.
Yeah, the fountain. The fountain. So it's recommended that goes somewhere in the central 4 squares. But everything else we dealt randomly. And the large and small markets were like right next to each other. So John had a couple turns where he made like 50 lira.
And then I just went right to the gem market.
Yep. It was like, okay, this is what we'll do.
Yep. I can just buy them per turn. Well, I had to move back, but yeah. Yeah, I thought, dude, Istanbul, very good game. I like it.
And then next is another one of our big kind of legacy games or campaign style games, ISS Vanguard.
Oh, guys, this game is so good.
It's brand new too.
It's brand new. Whoever, I forget who, Awaken Realms is the
Yeah.
maker of the game. They, I don't know, pull out of stops. There's an app you can download. There's videos on YouTube, like cutscenes for the game. The whole entire
yeah, because usually in a legacy game you'll have like the story bits and then somebody has to read those, but they were like, nah, and they just had voice actors record every
you could
single
read
log in the book.
You got the book you can read, but if you download the app, there's voice act. It's good,
and it even guides you through like the beginning of the missions. Like when we were landing for mission 1, there was like a whole thing where it's like you land, input result, and then roll the die, and then you input the result, and then it told you what happened. That way you didn't have to actually cross-reference.
Oh, good thing we had armor on our ship because we would have been screwed.
Right.
The play mechanics of actually when you're on the ground on the planet playing is actually really good.
I think it's good, but it gets a little repetitive.
It's a dice game, everybody.
And that's another thing. It's very swingy, whereas like the dice in Skyrim, I don't know. It was actually pretty swingy in Skyrim too. Yeah. Like
all the dice are different too in this game.
That's a little annoying.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat because like every character, so there's 3 stats basically, like brain, brawn, dex.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Or
it was
red, green, blue. But then there's like 2 or 3 types of dice for each color. And it's a little confusing when you're just like looking at the bag that has all the red dice in it.
Yeah, because when we first saw, I just divvied them up, and I'm like, oh, these are all different. I'm like, oh no, you have to go through the rule book and see which dice gets assigned to each character at the first.
One thing I really like about the game is the components. So like, there's still a lot of like cardboard bits, and then you got some plastic dice. So that's not like the craziest thing in the world, but the app for sure, I would count that as a
the
game
minis
component.
are really detailed and nice.
The character minis, very awesome. Nice injected molded plastic with like no mold lines that I saw. Like they're just clean. They're good. All the enemies, we haven't fought any enemies yet, but it looks like those are all go on standees basically and are cardboard punch outs, which is fine. Like you don't need minis for every
single thing. Yeah.
And then there is really, to me, the standout component of the game is the ship book,
the binder,
the actual ISS Vanguard book. Oh, and it comes with like a comic book that is like the prequel story to the game.
Mm-hmm.
And while 2 of the players we were playing with were arguing about rules, John and I had time to read the comic book. That it's not a long comic book.
No.
But if that goes to show you how this rules debate was going.
It's a co-op game.
It was so funny.
We're all on the same team.
And they were like, no, this way, no, this way. And then I was like, well, I'm going to read this comic book then while you guys figure this out. And we'll just do whatever. I don't care.
But the ship book that comes with it. I mean, it comes with
It's a 3-ring binder.
It's a 3-ring binder, and it comes with card sleeves.
With like pro pages.
Pages and stuff like that.
And that's where your tech tree goes for your upgrades to
your ship, for your lander, for your crew, it's...
Oh yeah, there's just so many things, and then like so you start the game, you're given a person, and they like match your class. Let's say pretty well.
There's 4 classes.
Yeah, there's 4 classes.
There's security, engineering, recon, and science.
Yeah, and they match your class pretty well. That first character that you get, you play through the tutorial. Or I guess you don't have to, but we played through, we played through the tutorial, and that helped a lot. And it was cool because there was story bits there. It wasn't like it was just a tutorial.
Yeah,
like even Skyrim's I think tutorial had some story.
Yeah, you're playing story.
So yeah, there was like a tutorial, and it had some story, and you got to rank your character up, which was neat. And there's card sleeves that denote rank. So, like, first, you go through the mission, no card sleeve on the guy. And
rank 1.
Right.
So then he ranks up to 2.
Yeah, and then it ranks up to 2. But then, once he comes back from the mission, he's got to rest. He's tired after being on the mission for 36 hours.
Yeah. So we had the draft new.
Yeah, so there's a big deck of characters, and then you take 2 of them, basically. Well, I guess, so the first time, we just took 2 randomly.
Took 2.
and then we picked one that we wanted, and the other one goes back in the deck to be drawn later. That's important to note.
That's what was being argued about. And it clearly said, take 2, pick 1, put the rest back.
We're one person at our table who should not be named. Jason was like...
But it's not in my hand. I don't have a hand.
Right.
Oh, my gosh.
It was so crazy. And so but I got the shaft real hard. My person didn't really work out that well. But then we got on the mission, and I was like, okay, maybe this ability is actually good. I didn't get to use it at all because we kept getting really lucky with drawing the thing.
Yeah, so my guy that I picked looked cool, but did not have a good ability. But then, so to get more characters in the whole ship preparing, because you got to prepare for each mission, right? You go through, upgrade the ship.
Oh yeah, so we should we should explain here.
So you go through the whole ship book, right? You start with the bridge. You got to upgrade the bridge,
and that's where we go. Yeah, so and then that's where we debrief the tutorial mission.
Mm-hmm.
So after you do the tutorial mission, you go to the debrief or docking step. And the cool thing about this binder is it's got all the steps laid out like on pages. So like page 1, docking. You do the dock and the debrief, and then you send your guy off or your character off because you're gonna have a guy or a girl character or like cyborg people kind of, and go send them off to go get healed. And you may have picked up an injury, and if they picked up an injury,
your characters can die in this game.
So basically, ISS Vanguard is like this big ship. And the humans found this thing called the Divine Coordinates that's in what was thought to be junk DNA. And then all of humanity kind of came together and started working on a project that would basically help humanity go find the Divine Coordinates and see what is out there in the stars. And then, all these people got on this big ship, and they're in cryo sleep until they're needed to go out and do these missions. Yeah, and that's why there's so many people. But yeah, so your characters can die and get injured. So when they come back from missions, if they get injured, they have to go to the med bay basically and get checked out.
And they don't get healed right away.
Right, yeah.
It takes time.
Yeah, so it'll take a couple game sessions. You might have a guy
in sick bay. So it's like, man, this guy,
and you're like, I need him to do other stuff.
Yeah.
Because there's phases where you can do research projects aboard the Vanguard and get upgrades for your rovers, get new equipment, or upgrades to the ship so you can do more things during the other ship phases. Yeah. There's like the production phase.
It's where you activate parts of the ship, where you can activate the barracks to draft new cards, new characters.
So you wake new people up out of cryo sleep, and those got drafted, and everybody decided to shit on me for some reason, because there was only one guy who did green dice.
Andy's character did green dice.
Well, I was saying when we flipped cards, there was only one that did green dice, and then Andy got to draft after you, and he took that, which is fine. Like, it made sense for him. And then I was stuck with 2 guys that I'm like, I have 1 blue dice, and both of these have blue surges.
Yeah.
So this is rough.
My guy did he negate the event card by using a charge.
That was good.
But now he's injured.
Right, and he's going to be in the hospital for 3 games.
But we can quickly heal him. But so you get these energy tokens. Basically, they're just like activation tokens for your ship, and you only get so many of them. So you can't just go
because you have to find them on planets.
You can't just activate I'm going to activate the barracks, and then I'm going to activate the production.
You're talking about the command tokens, not
energy. The command tokens. Sorry, the command tokens, where it limits what you can do on your ship because the ship's so big. So it's not like you're going to spend, and there's a time pressing of trying to find what's going on. So if we activate next time we play, if we activate the med bay, we can assign crewmates as therapists to heal them faster. But then, what if we want to do a production line or get more?
Because we do have a couple things still on the production line from last time.
Yep. So I mean, whoever Awakened Realms, you guys did a good job with this whole binder of how to.
Yeah, and the ship phase is a whole another part of the game. It's almost as long as the
playing the
exploring
game
on the planets.
Yeah,
the game is broken up into those 2 kind of phases. You have the mission on the planet with your away team.
Well, it's 3 phases because you have the you're on the planet.
Oh, and then the landing. Yeah.
Then it's the landing, the well, you got the docking and debriefing, and you got the ship prepare, the away team preparement. You got the actual gameplay, and you got the landing. I mean, it's not like they just like cookie cuttered it where it's like, oh, you land perfectly.
One thing I will say, I like the story so far a lot.
Yes,
but it's a lot like No Man's Sky. If you played through,
you keep saying No Man's Sky. I thought that had zero story.
No, so initially it didn't, and then they added one. And
this game feels like to me playing Mass Effect.
Okay,
because you're picking up crew members. You have a ship you can do the Normandy. You can do armory, weapons, engineering, this, that.
So I've never played Mass Effect.
Yeah, and then you have your characters you can pull. Like to me, it's like it's a very this game is, I don't know. I can't talk high. This thing is awesome. Like they did a really good job with this game.
The only thing, if you really like these games, they're expensive. The like legacy big campaigny games, like
it wasn't terribly expensive.
This one was cheaper than Skyrim, and
Skyrim was cheaper.
Was it?
Skyrim was $149. This one was $159.
Okay, $10, but for that $10,
you got a binder with pro sleeves and
right, yeah,
and like minis, and
Skyrim had minis too.
Yeah, but you got an app.
Right,
like Skyrim didn't have an app. I mean, they have a video game, but like
they have a video game. But that's sold separately. Whereas this is like, this comes with this app that's really good and reads all the logs to you.
Yeah, like, but the problem is when we started this legacy game with 4 people. Now it's like we have to make sure we're playing with these 4 people every time.
Well, I mean, you could switch the players out.
Yes,
but you still need 4 bodies at the table every time.
Yeah, which we should be playing it every Sunday after work.
Yep.
Now that we know what we're doing, it should only take like 3 to 4 hours to go through the stuff. So it's not terribly.
If we do one mission at a time,
yeah,
wouldn't be too bad. Or like if we're really getting.
Yeah, and then the campaign on this, guys, like it tells you an estimated play time to complete the campaign. It's 40 to 60 hours.
Oh, wow.
To complete the campaign.
Wow. So we're in.
So, I mean, $160 for that much play. You can't, and then it's actually really good. I would have been pissed if I spent that and it's just like
garbage.
Then this game is garbage. The storytelling is stupid.
Well, there is a legacy game like that. So the first kind of legacy game was called Seafall, and it didn't do so it sold really well, but it was horribly unpopular because it was not very good.
Lame.
And that kind of kicked off the whole legacy era that we're in with board games right now. Like,
yeah, I'm down. I love this co-op game storytelling. I like it a lot.
Yeah, so I don't know. To me, and that's what's cool about this ISS Vanguard is like, and then if your people die, you could put them on the memorial wall.
Oh yeah, there's a whole binder page to your fallen people.
And if they die, then
you get perks.
You get bonuses for them dying. And so that's really kind of a weird thing.
We got to think about it. Humanity's out in the stars.
Right.
They're never going back home. They're going to memorialize the people that have fallen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the stat bonus, getting the bonuses is kind of weird, but the whole, it kind of gets you attached to your characters a little bit.
Well, yeah, and each character card has like a little backstory on it, or like maybe a little detail, because some of them don't really have backstories.
No.
They have like personality stuff.
And there's a special folder in this thing that's sealed and says "Do not open until
instructed." Basically.
Instructed, and the guy I pulled, character-wise, he was like. He's one of the few people that knows what code violet means.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, my guy does.
No, I don't think he knows. I think he's on it. So
he's on the code violet.
Right. If he's told like, "Yo, we're doing code violet. Here's your orders," then he's got to do it.
But I'm saying he's the few people that know that this code, this protocol exists.
Right.
So so that kind of like
there's only one character who knows what it is.
Yeah,
and that's the captain. We've not met the captain, which is kind of interesting.
It's Captain Wayman.
Did we meet him?
Well, in the logs, the captain's log,
sure.
But I don't think our characters ever actually met with him because we're talking to like other officers and stuff.
Yeah, because when you're on the Vanguard, it's not like there's a board for it. It's really just that book.
Yeah.
And then you go through the steps. But there are game logs, and you communicate with the Vanguard through those.
Yeah.
Kind of.
It's good. I like it a lot.
I've enjoyed it a lot so far too.
I'm really excited to see what else plays out. So you go to this. So like the divine coordinates takes them to this gigantic Dyson sphere, right? That is inside of the Dyson sphere is another solar system. And that's what you thought the divine, like that's where they thought you were going, but it actually empty, like it's completely
It gives you a whole lot of new pings on your mini map.
Yes,
if you're thinking about
it's
it,
like
a
oh
video
no,
game.
it's actually now you got to what happened to the solar system, what is going on, like it's really good.
Yeah, so we like went to this broken up planet, and then we're like mining basically the minerals, and then we found like some alien tech, and we'll use that next time in like our upgrades, and we'll slowly get better stuff. It'll be neat as we get like alien enhanced things.
I think it's
well, that's the whole thing about the Vanguard, the ship, right? It's actually got alien
technology they found in the ice in Siberia.
Yeah, and then they're like, just the whole story was really cool. In that comic book.
They spent a lot of time
writing
this story. It could be a TV show or a video game,
but instead it's this board game.
It's a board game,
and it's really neat. Like that. Wow, there's this much kind of production value in
board game
in this board game.
Yeah.
So then now, as we're kind of talking movies, TV shows, we'll move on. Not a whole lot for us to talk about this week. Is going to be kind of the wrap up. We'll talk about the Dad Batch a little bit. I don't know if I'm actually caught up. I may be behind an episode.
No, I think the last episode was the dinosaur shooting the thing episode.
The Trandoshans, right?
No, yeah.
Well, and it was cool because we had a return of a Stone Wars Clone Wars character, in Junji, whatever his name was.
The Wookiee Jedi.
Yeah, there's the little Wookiee Jedi, and he was in the episode with Yoda and Ahsoka when they went to go make lightsabers.
Yep.
On
whatever planet that was.
Well, it's the Starkiller base planet.
Oh, yeah.
I just can't remember what it's called for some reason. And it was in Fallen Order, and that planet. Ilum, that's it.
Ilum. It was...
And so he went back to Kashyyyk with the Dad Batch, and then there's all these Trandoshans there who have this cool new Empire tank, which I would like to see in Legion. Yeah, it's like I got a flamethrower on it, and it's basically a modified AAT.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? The Empire has this? This is sick. And it's just burning down the forests of Kashyyyk with Trandoshans on it, and got to see like the Trandoshans versus the Wookiees.
Yeah. And spiders.
Yes, and there's these spider things, and little Junji was like, yo, how about you kill this Trandoshan for me? And they're like, don't mind if we do.
Yeah, we'll eat them later. Yeah.
And you just got to hear him scream, and the forest is on fire. I was like, man, this is good and dark.
Yeah.
But again, the Bad Batch didn't do anything. John and I had a really good conversation driving home from work the other day.
Yeah.
And it was about why I think we don't really enjoy the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
And that's because the characters never change.
They don't.
And there's no real story. It's episodic, which is cool. Maybe that like they could do that well. Like there's ways they could do that well. But the characters don't change. They're just...
There's no character progression. There's no character arcs. It's just... I'm the strong one. I'm the smart one. I'm the leader. I'm this one. And then you got the Omega.
Yeah. And then they're like, we're all dads now.
Yeah.
And nobody knows what's going on with Echo.
Like
Echo doesn't even have like a thing.
He just has one arm.
Yep. He's got a screwdriver hand. And which sucks because Echo was cool in the Clone Wars, and he had like some character. He had some direction.
Yeah.
And then when he got on the Bad Batch, and like when they introduced him, it's like, wow, this is a really crazy way for this character to end up. And then they just stopped. They're like, I don't know what we're going to do now.
Yeah. Yeah. This is... And then what the best episode of the Bad Batch didn't have the Bad Batch in it.
Yeah, it had Crosshair and Commander Cody.
Yeah. It was so good.
And you got to really see how Commander Cody's like, yeah, no, I think I'm out. And they kind of rewrote his story because in Legends, it was totally different.
Yeah.
He went to go be a stormtrooper, basically. And I think he worked on the Death Star. But like after this mission that he and Crosshair had to do, he's like, yeah, I think I'm out.
I'm out. Yeah, this what the Empire's doing is bad. I'm done.
Right.
Yeah.
He's like, because you know what makes us different from battle droids? And they have that conversation, and that was really cool. And then Crosshair's still like, good soldiers follow orders.
Yeah, he is just drinking the Kool-Aid hardcore.
Yeah. Well, he can't go back, and like that's the whole thing. Like and it shows Crosshair on the base with the other clone troopers, and they still don't like him, and because he's a different clone.
Yep.
But now he's like alone, whereas before he had the Bad Batch, but now he is alone. So Crosshair's a very sad character now.
Yes.
And he's evil. Like, don't get me wrong, he's still evil. But like, that's what's really weird. Like, he's a very conflicted character, I think.
Yeah, they're doing a lot
like
more character progression.
Like, he's
on him.
interesting, whereas the rest of them are not, because they don't change.
No.
And they're like, I don't know. They could lean into them being like kind of scoundrel-y smugglers like Han Solo.
Yeah,
because they're doing jobs for like the criminal underworld.
Yes.
But then they're like, but we're good guys.
Yeah. They just need to pick a lane.
Yeah.
Or pick something or do something. I don't know.
And then now it kind of seems like they might be flirting with joining like the rebellion almost.
Yeah.
And like if they're going to do that, that's cool. Do that. But they haven't really... Like,
yeah, Sid's got more character development than any other one.
Right, yeah. Sid's got this dark backstory we've yet to discover, and like they've been progressing that. But again, the characters in the Bad Batch stay the same. We got insight. I definitely think did that episode show Omega being force sensitive?
No.
Finally?
Mm-mm.
I think it I
well,
think
she
it
touched the
kinda,
trees.
Yeah, I was like, I think it kind of did. So I think we're officially there with Omega is force sensitive, or like we're right on the precipice of, in a few episodes that'll finally be official. This is the closest I think it's gotten to her being force sensitive.
Yeah.
Which is everybody's like theory, and that's why she's like different than the others, besides the fact that she's a girl.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still like my fan theory that Omega is Rey's mom.
But not everybody has to be somebody's parents.
But clearly it did.
Yeah, I know.
Clearly it did. That's the story they went with. So if that's the case, that's a way to kind of make it cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. And I think we'll see maybe a grown-up Omega. And if they really do have them join the rebellion, I think we'll maybe see... Well, no, because Andor was like where my crazy conspiracy for... like live action Rebels characters was, and that didn't happen because they didn't really do a whole lot of...
No, the live action Rebels is going to be in Ahsoka.
Yeah. They didn't do a whole lot of like fan servicey stuff. But they did have the returning character in Mon Mothma.
But that's not much fan. I mean,
to me it was, and it was done right, and they told a story with a character, and they added a whole lot of depth
because it's showing the building of the rebellion, and Mon Mothma is pretty important in the building of the rebellion. So
it turned this like background character and really made them three-dimensional.
Yes. Yeah.
Which was good. And like her story's kind of wild. But yeah, so I don't know. The Bad Batch needs a little more of that. And I get it that it's like the animated one, but even like you see the characters change in Clone Wars and in Rebels.
Yeah.
Like
you grow to like love generally like care for the clones.
Right.
When the clones die, you're like, damn it.
Yeah.
I have no emotional stake in the Bad Batch.
Right.
Like, if one of them died tomorrow, I'd be like, okay.
Especially Echo. You're like, okay.
Yeah. Like,
because what does he do most of the time? Nothing.
Yeah.
They give him nothing to do other than occasionally slice into something. But Tech also does that.
And does it better.
Right.
And faster. Well, he's always, what I've noticed is whenever they have to stay back at the ship, it's always Echo and Omega.
Right.
It's like, just stay with the ship, guys. You guys are whatever. Normies, go away.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, it's just, I don't know. And Hunter is like, maybe Hunter's changing. I'll say that. If any of them are changing, it's Hunter. And that's just because he's like the most dad of the Dad Batch.
Yeah. I don't know. We're getting like 16 episodes of the show. So, I mean,
and it's going nowhere fast.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. So my hope is that the episodes where
Maybe they'll do like a time jump.
I don't know. That would be kind of interesting.
Because they're going to bring back. I mean, Rex is going to make a cameo
again, which seems unnecessary.
Well, Rex is like trying to help the rebel. Well, no, because he's supposed to be just chilling and hunting Jupiter. What?
Yeah, on that one planet.
Yeah. So when's he like?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because that's where he ended up in Rebels, was on the old six-legged walker with Wolf and
Gregor,
yeah.
Oh, Gregor was so good. When he died, I was sad.
I wasn't really.
Gregor, come on. He was an old Republic commando.
Yeah, but he like went all crazy.
Yeah, it was great.
But not like, I don't know. Yeah, like that was a neat
Come on,
part.
he fought. He was like going into battle wearing his like wolf t-shirt. Like,
right.
Whatever. Like, no, you got Rex over there, puts on all his armor. He's like, let's do this. And you got Gregor's like, I'm just going to fight everybody in a freaking tank top.
He had a wife beater.
Yeah. He's like, I'm a commando, bitch.
The episode that showed Gregor in the Clone Wars was really cool.
Yeah.
Like that was a neat little arc where it was the real tiny admiral and the droids, basically. Yeah. Or I should say the astromechs.
Yeah.
Because that's what it was. And then, they found Gregor. And then he's just a dish man at this crappy diner.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought, Gregor has more backstory than the Dad Batch, and there's a whole series about the Dad Batch.
Right, yeah. We know more about Gregor's, like...
He got a full arc.
Gregor did have an arc between, like, 3 episodes of the Clone Wars.
And Rebels.
And 1 episode of Rebels.
2 episodes of Rebels. Like, but you got the Dad Batch that's in season 2.
And maybe that's fine, right? But if they did a whole TV show about, like... Gregor, Rex, and Wolf on that thing, then maybe there'd be a problem. Yeah. And I think that's what we've run into with the Dad Batch. Yeah. I don't think there was ever a plan for them to really make a series out of them.
No, they just they were well received in the Clone Wars. Like, whoa, look at this cool. And they did a really good job showing them off in the Clone Wars, and that was it. That's all they needed. They didn't need to make a whole show about them.
That's, I guess, the big thing. And I want to like it. Like, every time.
Like we were talking about it in the car. Make a show about Cody.
Right, yeah. What? Because that's a fan favorite character who's got like next to 0 screen time anywhere. Like there's a lot of Cody stands out there, and I don't personally get it because I like Rex because he wears blue but but he's cool. Rex is really cool, and he's different than Cody.
Well, now that they're changing his story, and he's like does not agree with the Empire. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
like he was a good clone. He was the first one to get that Order 66
and go, yep, General Kenobi, you're going down.
Yeah, blast them. Yeah, I don't know. All right, that's enough about it.
But then we got The Last of Us.
The Last of Us is so good.
I think we've watched 2 episodes since we talked about it last.
The episode with Nick Offerman.
Yes, so that's up first.
That
beautiful
was
storytelling.
That was fantastic.
Like, I know you can't get Oscars for TV shows. You get, Emmys?
Emmys or something like that.
So, dude deserves one. And same with the guy who played Frank. I don't know who that actor's name is.
They were so good. So good. The whole episode was just like, I just loved how it started when, he's like, get out of here, you fucking commie jackboots or whatever.
No, he called him, a bum.
No, I'm talking about when he's in the basement and the Fedra's upstairs.
Oh, yeah.
And then he walks outside and everybody's gone and he's just smiling on his face. He's like, all right, time to do it.
The Nick Offerman giggle.
Yeah, that's his real laugh. And he just goes and gets things and just
right. He makes his self-sufficient bug out house.
Yeah, it was great. And then it's just then he finds this guy named Frank, and then they fall in love, and then they spend a life together, and then it shows a little bit of there's actually a 2-hour director's cut. I hope it comes out.
Whoa, no way.
Yeah, because they're talking about, I was reading, it's the 2 hours director's cut is way more sad than what this was. And I hope
this was pretty sad. They fucking killed themselves.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
They just poisoned themselves at the end, like Romeo and Romeo.
Yeah, which was, I mean, come on, they were old.
Yeah,
like,
that's the thing. Like, so
he
Frank,
had like lupus or
Lou Gehrig's disease,
Lou
or
Gehrig's
something.
disease. So I mean, like he couldn't
Or
help,
MS or something.
he couldn't help fend off
against
anything,
zombies or raiders anymore.
And Bill,
he's old.
He can't. I mean, it's just like I'm surprised they were just so left alone so often.
Right.
Because
Well, I think that's like the landscape of The Last of Us, and in the traveling shots in the episode after with just Ellie and
Joel.
Yeah, and Joel. It's mostly empty. They just mostly travel and are uninterrupted.
Yeah.
Until they make some kind of stupid mistakes.
Yeah. Like, let's drive through the city.
Yeah.
Like, he should be smart enough. Like, he grew up, like, he was...
Like, he's been around.
Like, why not bypass the entire city? Because knowing cities would have the most people and the infected. But it's like, no, let's just drive right through the city.
Yeah, that's the only thing. That probably happened in the video game.
Yeah, it did.
Too. But, like, I don't know.
We got to have a story, because if not, it'd be like just them on the road. Like, well,
right.
We made it to Wyoming. Huh?
Yeah. Right. But no, then their car got ruined, which is like, man, and Joel worked really hard to try to get that car.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Even though, like, that one was just given to him because they ended up at Frank's and they took Frank's truck.
Yeah.
But still, like that, like a very valuable limited resource, and it was kind of neat because Ellie had never been in a car before.
Yeah, she's like, it's like a spaceship.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. The storytelling in that show is so good. Like so everybody, the one big flack about the episode with Bill and Frank is
it's very different than those
different from
characters
the
were
video
in
game because they hated each other. He killed him. Frank hangs himself just to get away from Bill. And like the note to Joel is like, I live my life and stuff like that. I don't know what's going on. What's happening?
Yeah, it was like one of my headphones cut out.
But
the left one is gone now. I only have it in my right ear.
Mine is still talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's still going.
Weird.
But yeah, in the game it's completely different. Where in this one there was a love story which was so well told. And I love like the scene with the strawberries was just so...
Yeah, it was very, like, that was just, I don't know, raw, unadulterated, like, cinematic storytelling. Like, you could see on their faces, this is the first time these two characters have had anything remotely, like, sweet. And just a pleasure in a while. Yeah,
it was just so good.
And it's just two people eating a strawberry. Like, that's it.
The scene where Bill's fighting off the raiders, and then like his like fucking grinders and gas start burning people, and people are getting shocked, and he gets shot. It was just, I don't know, dude. It was a good episode, and it progressed the story too. It wasn't just like stopped. You still had Joel and Ellie moving along, and it's like then they're going to go tell the story about Bill and Frank. It's like the show writers are like,
you think you're going to meet Bill and Frank, like. Because Joel's like, we're going to go meet Bill and Frank.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, here's Bill and Frank's story.
Yeah.
And then it's like, nope, they're fucking dead.
No, what it was is the showrunners were like, we need to get Joel a car. We know it happens. We're going to do the absolute most saddest thing possible for Joel to get the car. Right?
Right. It has to be dour.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Perhaps I'm very cynical in my mid to late 20s, but like, I like dark storytelling.
Yeah.
I'm into it, and this is like that. And I liked The Walking Dead when it started. And I was when I was afraid that this was going to be another Walking Dead, but it's not so far.
No, it's good. It's just going to be sad when Joel dies. Spoiler alert. I mean, it happens in the game.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll get it. Maybe.
I don't think it'll happen this season.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they didn't think this show was going to be so successful because look at other game adaptations.
Right,
We're looking at you, Halo. You suck.
That's
so what if they just played it all out and now it's like they got green light for a season 2 and they're like, man, we could have told a little bit more of the story in 2 seasons instead of 1.
Right. I don't know. I think it'll probably be game 1 story in season 1, game 2 story in season 2. And that might be all that we get of it because there's not a 3 yet.
No.
because they took forever in between those two games.
Yes. And they better not give it the Game of Thrones treatment where it's like, well, there's no more source material. We'll make up our own.
Yeah, that'll be when it goes off the rails and becomes The Walking Dead Part 2.
Yeah.
And then the spinoff, and then the spinoff of the spinoff, which is happening. I'm pretty sure.
The last episode's good. They got caught in a city. Kansas City is where they're stuck at. Looks like the people rebelled against Fedra is what it looks like.
Yep.
And freed the QZ. I think we're getting real close to finding a bloater at the gigantic infected.
Maybe that could be
That's what's under the rocks.
Okay.
Yeah, they're called bloaters, I think they're called. I forget.
So it's a little bit like Left 4 Dead. I don't know. I've only played a little bit of Left 4 Dead, but that's not a game you play for the story. That's a game you play to just fuck around, kill zombies.
I didn't care for that game at all.
It's fun. Like, it's just a shoot 'em up zombie game.
Yeah, and to getting more ridiculous ways to kill zombies.
Right. Yeah. So Left 4 Dead, like I've played Left 4 Dead 2, I think, and it's got the spitters and the ropers.
There's different. There's like I think 6 different variants of the infected, and we've seen like the fairly new infected, the clickers, the far gone, like where it's like complete, like that guy on the wall,
right?
And then there's the big honking ones that's yet to be seen. It was in the trailer.
Okay.
Not in haven't seen it yet, but I think that's what they're going to run into because you got these people like they're in the middle of the city, and I'm like, where's all the infected? And you made a good comment. It looks like they bombed the crap out of the city.
Right.
Maybe took care of a lot of the infected, but there's still these people are just running around shooting guns,
right,
making loud noises, and these guys, the infected here,
right, and it's kind of like A Quiet Place.
Yeah.
Where that monster was, or those monsters were all about sound because they were blind, but it was like if you made noise, then it's going to get you.
Yeah.
And same thing with these zombies, which is neat. That's what's cool about The Last of Us, I guess. And I'm an Xbox user, so I have never played it. So it's cool to get to see this story finally because I always thought about like, maybe I'll watch like a Let's Play on YouTube to get it because I've heard that it's a really good story.
Yeah.
But now they just turned it into a TV show, and I'm like, okay, let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go. Awesome.
And at the end, in this episode where they like are getting fucked because they go into the city, Ellie like shoots somebody, and she's like, well, this isn't the first time I've shot somebody or killed somebody.
Yeah. She shot him right in the back, and he was paralyzed.
Yeah, that was dark, and like this kid's just on the ground, paralyzed. I can't feel my leg.
Yelling for his mom.
Yep, pleading for his life.
Joel just like stabs him.
Yep.
With his own knife.
Yep. With his own knife. Because he's like, here, you can take my knife. It's a nice knife. And he's like, don't mind if I do.
Yeah.
So then they're like running around, but there's like a whole B story in this episode with one lady. I don't know. She's like the leader of whoever liberated the QZ, basically.
Yeah.
And then they talk about these two people, like, maybe it's them. They've hired some goons, maybe, to like come in and
save them. It turns out to be a couple kids.
And so these people who are like antagonizing this basically free anarch state of people are like these two kids, and you're like, whoa. So I don't know. Next episode will be really interesting to see.
Awesome. So I think that's about what we got, right?
That is all we got. That's all she wrote for today.
I hope you guys enjoyed the show. And you guys will rate it, like it, go to our YouTube channel and watch us open up magic cards and stuff like that. I think we need to start throwing up some more board game stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least unboxings.
Yeah. We can unbox. Jason has a copy of the ISS Vanguard. We can open and unbox.
Okay.
I was thinking about doing an opening and unboxing a video of that and kind of like a setup video. Go through of like, because now I've already set it up. We can show, because the instructions were really bad.
They're really, really bad for the first, or for the ship phase.
Yes. Excuse me. I'm just talking about setting the game up, opening up all the cards, getting them ready, staged and all that stuff. The instructions were like, put these cards here, and you have like 1,000 cards, and there's one sentence that writes out where they go. It's like, what are these cards? They're not labeled and stuff
Right.
like that. So I was thinking about going through like a separate video of how to set the game up. I think would be really good.
Mm-hmm.
So awesome, guys.
And once we get the ship phase nailed down, a tutorial on that would be helpful.
Yes, I think so. I think, yeah, some good tutorials about this game would be really good. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We'll be back sometime with episode 15. This is episode 14. And thank you so much for listening. And we'll see you next time.
And as always, bye-bye.